Like we said many times before, this is Forge season. Come playoff time, so difficult to beat. And they hang on for a 2-1 victory in Calgary today. And that means the road to the North Star Cup goes through the Steel City, the ambitious city of Hamilton, Ontario. Once again, the last time the final was staged in Hamilton was 2021. Forge ended up losing that game 1-0 to Pacific. And next week, the regular season champions, well, another try at it. Pacific comes into Atco Field in Calgary for the honor, for the chance to go and move on to play that game, which will officially be played Saturday, October 28th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time in Tim Hortons Field. We're already excited. No matter who they play, it's going to be a rematch of 2021 or the rivalry that keeps on giving in Forge in Cavalry. Look, the experienced players, this man right here, Kyle Becker at times, putting his team on his back again. Another professional performance by an experienced group of players who are never fazed by any opponent, by any occasion. And KJ, they go on and do it again.
Yeah, I thought he was absolutely magnificent. You know, again, I've said it time and time again. There's no better player in the CPL when he's on his game. No better player. He's had a marvelous season again. And, you know, he's smiling there because not only have they won now, but, you know, he was fueled by the ability last year to try and get to that final that he wasn't able to play in because he was suspended and getting sent off against Cavalry in that semi-final. So, look, for me, I said earlier they needed to find a different gear than they have the last few weeks, and they found it. And I thought they were magnificent. And that's not an easy place to go and win. But, you know, his delivery from the set piece and that finish as well was very, very special. Iconic in the CPL so far to see a player like that deliver again.
You said it to me, KJ. You said something when we were talking about Kyle Becker, and the phrase was class is permanent.
Yeah.
And he stood up again with his movement, with his leadership, with the way that he's played and kind of fueled this team to go forward. But I also think today for Forge, what has been the difference maker is, yeah, maybe they still don't have that threat going down the middle, that number 9. But you have a Noah Jensen that can come in and pop in. You have a job report. I thought he looked like a job report that we know in terms of technician, playing balls forward, being brave, covering areas well. So this Forge side still have caliber. They still have players that can hurt you, and they showed it today.
After everything they've been through this year, people writing them off, people considering them a tier down, when it matters the most, they go on and win. And what's interesting today, 2 teams that didn't maintain the majority of possession of the ball, were willing to give it up at times. 2 away sides as well go on and win 2 critical games. What do you make of it?
That's playoff football, Wheels. I think what it is when it's a 1 knockout game, yeah, when you're playing 28 games in a season, KJ, you want to play a progressive style, you want to go and dominate possession and all these things. At the end of the day in playoff football, the objective is to win. If you know a team is really good on the ball, you sit back. You maybe say, let's absorb, let's punch. What I like about Forge today is that, yeah, they sat back, but when it's time for that quality, they showed it. The corner, Becker's finish, we could try that 5-6 times. I'm not scoring it. Hits it on the half volley. When it was time to really show their dominance, they did.
A classic away performance again. You know, it's what it takes to be able to, you don't need to go into these environments and dominate possession. You have to stand up, be counted, defend well, and then when you keep the ball, as we said, they can control games. They can control games. The big players stood up when they need to, and that's 5 finals in 5 years. Yeah. Think about that. Yeah. 5 finals in 5 years, and now they get to do something they have still not done and win 1 at home.
That is one consistent streak of success. And let's go back to Atco Field right now. And the man that oversees it all is Bobby Smyrniotis. Bobby, ho-hum, I told you this is Forge season, and your side once again delivers. What was the key to success today?
Your prediction pre-match. I think you know you called it yourself. So please do it again in 2 weeks. No, all fun aside, I think tactically we did an excellent job today. The guys put in a shift. We've created a lot of opportunities. Probably would have hoped to have a 3rd goal. But yeah, these matches are always excellent, and there was another excellent match for both of our teams in the league.
Bobby, congrats on the win and congrats on the performance. I know you're a tactician. I know we can sit down and over a coffee or whatever you want to drink and talk about footy all the time. I know this is something that's so important with you. Tactics is how you play. In the next 2 weeks, I think you have a problem on your hands of the 11 that you'd like to play. Because Noah Jensen tonight stepped up. Her job report in the middle looked good. I guess what the question I'm going to ask you is, who are you leaning to? Who did you really like today, and who performed really well outside of a Kyle Becker? Just give us some names that you thought were exceptional, that are really going to make your job hard in 2 weeks.
Yeah, you mentioned one of them right off the bat there. Noah Jensen did an excellent job for us. You know, his energy in the midfield, his ability to carry the ball. He did a great job finding the pockets that we had read pre-game. And the guys found them very well, and they gave us good opportunities to attack in the open field. And I thought he was tremendous. And this is a guy that's showing up in some big games for us. So he's obviously, we know, somebody we can count on. We've got a lot of depth in this squad, but you know, everyone's got to step up at some point. Today we're missing one of our top scorers in Wheeldon Jr, and Noah's done an excellent job. I thought Badibanga was very good in giving us a release going forward. Maybe we got a penalty there. I haven't seen it. I thought he was very good in that second half and in pushing us forward and trying to give us another, you know, dimension in the attack. And then our defenders were just resilient. We're super today, and that's what's needed in these games, because apart from tactics, you need that will and desire, and we had that today.
Yeah, you certainly did, Bobby. We all thought it was a penalty as well, by the way. I would ask you about Kyle Becker, and feel free to answer about him if you like, because I know you've talked about him a lot. But the other thing I want to ask you is about that desire of lifting a trophy at home now. You've accomplished so much in your tenure in Hamilton. You know, your record speaks for itself, arguably one of the finest coaches we have in this country. But how much of that vocabulary will be spoken about now, the desire to try and do something you've not done before and lift it inside Tim Hortons field, something you've not yet done?
Yeah, I think that's what we always try and find. You know, as a coaching staff, we always try and find that different layer of motivation, because one of the toughest things in our job here at Forge is keeping these guys striving for the top. You know, it's 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Here we are, 5th year. So you need to come up with different things, and here's a perfect one to do it. You know, our fans are excellent. They've been behind us. They've celebrated on the road with us. They've seen us travel all over the place. It'd be great to get this one done at home.
Yeah, a lot different this time around than 2021. Rather than 2 days to prepare, now you have 2 weeks to prepare. So next weekend, you get to sit back and enjoy, watch Cavalry play Pacific. Do you want Cavalry again at home, or Pacific to kind of make amends for what happened in 2021?
The one thing I make sure I never do is think about an opponent or pick an opponent, because you know what, on that day it's everyone. So once we get them on Saturday, we'll start working on that tactical plan for that game, and we'll give our best foot forward as we usually do in these final matches.
I tried my best right there. Congratulations, you're going back to another Canadian Premier League final. Well done, well played. Safe travels, Bobby. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
Great job.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Bobby Smyrniotis joining us. Wonder if all the Bobby's beards will be out in full effect. The crowd has been great at Tim Hortons Field, and we're expecting a big crowd now for the Canadian Premier League final. Your Volkswagen changemaker moment of the match. It is that Kyle Becker goal that goes down to be a match winner. It's not an own goal. It's not something that came off the back of a player. It's a Becker goal. There's a lot to like about the move that's made, leading to the strike as well.
Yeah, it's a fantastic goal by Kyle Becker. The technique is marvelous, and then obviously the build-up here, as we pause it here, is really important, Jordan.
Yeah, look, for me, a job report, this is off of a play right here, but you just want to watch Reza Rama and the movement right there, right? Times his run perfectly. We've checked it. He's not offside, and as we play it through, just want to pause it right here. Just pause it. Perfect. This guy we want to focus on, which is Noah Jensen, who we've mentioned. This is a midfielder run to drag someone out, right? When you're looking at the back four of Cavalry, there are pockets and space, and that's what Bobby Smyrniotis was talking about, right? To go in that area, just play it through. Jensen does so well at drawing out a player. Yes, this is one classy, sexy back heel from Reza Rama, but it's Noah Jensen that run. And just pause it right there, right before you hit. That technique right there, right? I'm taking a touch. Most people are taking a touch because look at this radius. There's no pressure there, Wheels, right? But not Kyle Becker. Not him. He says, you know what, this is me. It's a half volley. I'm going to just curl it and caress it right around Marco Carducci, and he scores that. That's a beautiful, beautiful hit. But for me, we talked about Hajab Report stepping up. We talked about what Noah Jensen looks like playing. And reminding them about Atletico Ottawa in the finals last season, but they came to play tonight.
The technique was picture perfect on that goal, worthy of a match winner. Cavalry really pushed late, had their fair share of chances as well. Let's chat with their manager, Tommy Wheeldon Jr. Tommy, what went wrong today? What was the missing ingredient that maybe wasn't able to get you guys over the line in this one, which was a very competitive game?
I think it was decided by the first goal, and it's a soft one when we reflect back at it. You know, Marco even talked about at half-time that we should have not even had the corner to begin with, and then the response wasn't what we used to. But you know, once that second goal, and it was a bit of quality from Kyle Becker, that's the difference. Our number 10 hits the crossbar, bounces down. We score, we keep going. I mean, and they do a great job of managing the game and killing the steam. But we're not going to get too. It's not an elimination game. So what we've got to do is take the learnings out of this one and move on to the next one.
Tommy, I mentioned last week that you're brave and your side come out to play. You don't feel any way shell-shocked looking at you. You're saying, look, we just got to take care of business. We might just have to do it the long way. Do you feel as if today that you guys just weren't as sharp on the ball as you normally were? Do you think that kind of led to your demise and not having the win today?
I think of it this way, Wills. You know, the first 15, 20 minutes, you know, Moosey's had a breakaway. We've had a couple of good half chances. We probably had the first bet of that. And then they changed the game with the corner, and goals in this tight of a playoff change games. I was disappointed with the lads, and I shared that half-time about the response after goal. I thought we could have been braver. So second half, we had a go, and, you know, we've had two chances one end and Kyle Becker's quality the other end. But then the response came, and all I'll talk to the lads is it came a little bit too late, and I think we're in there. So I'm not struggling or suffering through this. We know we can play well. We've shown we've finished, got the crowd off their feet. We just get another game week next week.
Yeah, Tommy, I was going to ask you about that. You've obviously deserved this one moment where you can have a bit of a blip. That's the whole purpose of this new playoff format in terms of getting that opportunity again. I think it's just your eighth home loss in any game in 5 years, by the way, there in the CPL play. And you've not lost back-to-back games all season long. So is it worth saying that if you were going to have a blip, this was the game to do it on? And the fact that you've been the best team for a long time, that you've still got 2 games to win and get to a final and win it?
Yeah, and that's the playoff format, isn't it? We knew with this one we'd have loved to have played at home in front of our fans. They deserve it. They've been terrific this year, and that was our moment. And maybe there was that one where, you know, Forge needed this one. They needed to win. We've already got it, and that's what I'll dissect with the players. But I'm not concerned because they'll go out next week. You know, sometimes you look, the Valor loss. We were 2-0 up at half-time. Everyone's saying what went wrong. Look at the response our lads had because they were counted out, and that's what I'm going to lean on here is these moments make you better.
Well, another familiar foe comes to ATCO Field next weekend, Pacific Cavalry. We're already looking forward to that. Best of luck moving forward, Tommy, and we'll chat again next week. Thanks for this.
All right, thank you. Cheers, bye.
Tommy Wheeldon Jr. joining us. Remember, Pacific, in terms of playoff performances at ATCO Field, was the ball in? Was the ball out? It settled it in 2021. That allowed Pacific to go to the final, then beat Forge. All of these things tend to come full circle, and it'll be another big test for Cavalry next week. Your All-State saving the match. And based upon Cavalry scoring that late goal, you're wondering how big this was going to be. It's Marco Carducci with a fantastic save, denying a second for Kyle Becker.
We need a keeper in a game to step up in a big moment and a big time. This right here, this could be 3-0. And he does. He stops Kyle Becker stone cold, being brave, standing his ground, and just pushing it away. It's a great save.
Yeah, it's a really good save. And I think it was really important because, look, this is about outcomes, and Forge needed to win the game. But just imagine if they got beat 3-0.
Yeah.
It's a very, very different storyline. Like, I don't want to put too far ahead. They will be the favourites to beat Pacific next week. So let's just say they do it just for the second, for the storyline point I'm trying to make. And then they go to Hamilton. The storyline is going to be they've still not beat Forge. But if you get beat at home 3-0, and suddenly then you have to go to Hamilton, it's like, hang on a minute, like Forge just beat you guys 3-0. So now, because they stay close and competitive, they'll still believe that they can go to Hamilton and win the game if they get past Pacific.
Right. Pacific watching on their long flight back to the West Coast. They're going to be thrilled that they're going to Calgary rather than Hamilton, save a little bit of travel, and hope that they end up in Hamilton 2 weeks from now. The XG in the game, very close. Cavalry turned it on the second half, just couldn't put those shots on target. There were some missed opportunities. A set piece goal brought them back into the game, but full credit to Forge in this one. Defensively disciplined. They look like a team that has been there before. And now, all time in the playoffs, Forge versus Cavalry, 5 wins for the team from Hamilton and a draw. They have never lost to Cavalry in the playoffs. And if Cavalry do make it to the final, they'll have to do something they've never done before to knock Forge off their throne. Final score, Forge 2, Cavalry 1.